Muchusa free. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Business Today. I'm Jerome Paul Sonko with Winnie Buyinza Nakauchi on sign language, and today is Friday, the 22nd of July, 2022. But first, a look at our top stories.
Taxing based on kilograms for textile and garments cancelled starting today. Uganda needs 20 billion to develop more affordable electric automotives.
All right, now we get right onto it. We start with the electronic mobility. While addressing the nation on Wednesday night, the President of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, encouraged the public in the transport sector to embrace the use of electric cars and motorcycles as part of the solutions to high fuel prices and environmental conservation. However, a section of Ugandans said that these electric cars and motorcycles are not reliable. Let's get the report.
According to the president, the fuel price is likely to remain high. Even with our petrol oil, we'll have to sell at the world price but have an advantage of no transport costs. He therefore called upon the public in the transport sector to shift to electric vehicles and motorcycles, which he said are cheaper, cleaner, have no pollution, and have less maintenance costs. Smart 24 TV on the field got Ugandan's perspective on the electric cars.
Because electric vehicles are cleaner, they don't have pollution, they are cheaper, apparently they have got less maintenance costs. That's what I hear. So that is for the bus, but we need now also to deal with the other ones. I will tell Barimus to bring these engineers here on the TV, and they explain to you what do we do with the trucks, with the motorcycles. So this is for the buses.
Zino picha za battery kituvu zikola nga togenze kukobiri ku mavuta naye buzo buliko onako oyinza kukolesa battery nya nga battery ya 12,000 kitegeeza nusu kanaana nange ku boxa yange nga nsobola kunywa amafuta ga kanaana ekitegeera naye gyonna ndaba nga bifangana. Ekyokubiri ku nsonga eyo ya gundi ya picha z'amasanyalaze za battery nyinza kuba nfunye omusabaze ava wano Kasha Mall agenda na Mugongo nga ntuuse okuntinda nga ku bitaala ku stage awo ya taxi awo omoro ngugwawo.
In his statement, the president said that an electric bus uses Uganda shillings 360 per kilometer, which is almost 5 times cheaper than a smaller fossil fuel bus that uses 16,000 Uganda shillings per kilometer. He noted that subsidizing fuel would not be the best solution.
So therefore, this pressure to spend whatever little money we have on subsidizing problems, would rather, if that money is there, would rather use it to get out of the problems permanently.
So that if we get, like, say, more electric buses plying our roads, then it becomes an alternative because they will be cheaper to use than the buses which use petrol or diesel. But like I have said, it's not that something immediate that tomorrow there will be electric vehicles all over Kampala and we shall abandon these vehicles. But in the long term, that's where we shall be moving. And that was the global decision taken in Scotland when they met, especially on the argument of the environment, protecting the environment.
Taxi no wagana kuteka kwa zabuni za masanyalazi. Hizo taxi ali ya masanyalazi eja. Au bakulimbye.
The president noted that Uganda needs 20 billion to develop more affordable electric automotives to breathe new life in the Uganda's long-dead railway networks. Fuel filling stations across the country have increased their prices, with a litre crossing to the Uganda shilling 6,590 and diesel at 6,390 per litre. To cope with the current situation, border operators in some urban areas across the country have decided to hike the transport fares for various routes. Pedson Mumbere, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
All right, now we move to the new tax policy on garments that has been trashed in the country. The new tax policy that had earlier been introduced on imported textiles and garments in the new financial year 2022-2023 has been trashed following several engagements between CASITA and other stakeholders in the business. The policy introduced required traders to be taxed $3.5 on textile and $3 on garments per kilogram. Nabionga Monica with the report.
In a confusion of the new tax arrangements or tax amendments that have slapped an abnormal and exorbitant $3 rate tariff, which is specific.
The new tax policy that URA implemented in this new financial year required garment importers to pay $3.5 away from 35%. Following yesterday's engagement between URA and CASITA, they promised that they are to tax basing on 35% value of the garment or textile. This was implemented today.
Because of the discussion, they indeed agreed and acknowledged that the Ministry of Finance, in its latest communication, removed the specific duty on 525 products tariff lines and retained the specific duty on 47 products that are locally available. You know, this policy is meant to also protect our manufacturers, but at the same time to also give an opportunity for those who are importing products that are not manufactured locally. So that's why the specific duty and the ad valorem have been retained on 47 products, but removed the specific duty on the 525 tariff lines.
On Wednesday, after the Ministry of Finance reconsidered its position and put aside that new policy so that we can be given a window like other East African countries, so that the tax which is on garments is 35%. And so yesterday we had to meet the URA to harmonize, because our members who had tried to clear their goods, the system was rejecting. But they clearly informed us, since that they are just integrated or set back the system. So it's going to be operational starting today.
Monica Nabionga, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
Business Today talks business registration in our next report as the Uganda Registration Service Bureau Act Cap 210 to register all business entities in Uganda which are required by law to be registered. However, this is still a challenge for many of the small and medium-sized enterprises, mostly in fear of paying taxes. Government has therefore urged all SMEs to be certified in order for their products to be on the market. Naomi Mutumba reports.
Small and medium enterprises are spread across all sectors, accounting for 49% of the service sector, 33% in commerce and trade, 10% in manufacturing, and 8% in other fields. Over 2.5 million people are employed in this sector and account for approximately 90% of the entire private sector, generating over 80% of manufactured output that contributes 20% of the GDP, a report from Uganda Investment Authority. However, one of the challenges facing small and medium enterprises is the formal registration of their business. These say the process is tedious.
Have the UNBS stamp, so of course few supermarkets take us in, take our product, and then of course we do online and the sales are not that much. Then we also face a challenge of our raw materials. The prices are going high every day. So like today you buy something at 60,000 and the next time you're seeing it, it's 150,000. The prices are going up, and then of course when you increase the price in the product, the clients complain. Like they don't want to understand that things have risen, the raw materials are high.
All comes in because we want to come legit to the market and satisfy our clients with everything that's UNBS certified. But maybe I would say it took a while for us to get a logo, the UNBS logo for our products, because it's just a few products now that are dealing in essential oils that have the logo. Yes.
According to Moses Kagwa, the Commissioner, Ministry of Finance, he says that enhancing the competitiveness of SMEs in Uganda is what has been lacking due to lack of registration. However, URSB gives guidelines to small business holders on how they should register their businesses and the impact of registered businesses to acquire market.
To harness these opportunities may require formalization, standardization, and improving the information management systems in our micro, small and medium enterprises. I must also take this opportunity to say that whenever I see something done by a micro, small or medium enterprise, I ask, do you have UNBS certification? That's always my question. And I'm told some of them say, oh, we don't have, but we are working with UNBS. Without this certification, you are not going to enter into the formal market, just the Ugandan market alone. You cannot sell daddies, simple things, in a supermarket now. You cannot sell crisps in a supermarket now, unless you have been certified by UNBS. So standardization is very, very important.
When you register, there are benefits you get. One of them is accessing the issues of credit, being able to trade across borders. There are really very many. But now, going to the registration process, all you need is either to visit us through online. You just go to URSB portal, go to e-services, drop down to the specific service you want. In this case, it will be business registration. Then you will be able to submit your application.
Naomi Mutumba, Smart 24.
All right, now we move on to Uganda's oil revenue. As Uganda's journey to become a petroleum producer and provide estimates regarding the size and timing of the oil revenues is quite a peculiar process. At an average of $38 per capita per year over a 33-year period, oil revenue by itself will be transformational to the Ugandan economy. But how Uganda handles this revenue is a question of big interest. Rona Nahabwe with more.
The oil project is one of those estimated to spur the economic development in the country. In 2006, discoveries of commercially viable oil reserves in Uganda raised hopes of a timely boost to economic growth in the country. 12 years later, despite the pressing development needs, Uganda is yet to move to the production stage to derive significant revenues from the resource. The question, though, is whether the Ugandan government will manage to avoid squandering it and transform the country's natural resource assets into productive assets. To this end, the government has made significant changes and additions to the policy and institutional framework that will govern the use of the revenues.
Is coming out of oil, when first oil starts, have been destined to be put in the Petroleum Fund. Clearly, the Public Finance and Management Act is very clear about that. So there are things that have been put in place to make sure that when the revenues start flowing, they're used right. And it's ring-fenced for strictly infrastructure development. So that's how it is working. And so if I was to throw a little more light, I mean, that is it really. The money is ring-fenced, it's going to the oil fund, and its utilization will follow the framework that was developed in 2015. How do you invest it? But also, there is an investment fund. The other one is the Petroleum Fund, ring-fenced for development. There is also an investment fund where some of the money will be saved for future generations. Apart from the money being brought in, you see, in the regions of $8 billion, right? That is the money being brought in this construction phase. Now, every time that magnitude of funds come into a country, you're sure that it's not going to leave that place the same, okay? Because there's a lot of spin-offs. The contractor is going to do this job.
The regulator of this industry says the opportunities coming with these industries are immense and they will reach every Ugandan.
The value or the benefits of the oil and gas sector to Uganda's economy are mainly through three areas. The first one is giving Ugandans the opportunity for employment and also providing goods and services, the enterprises, what is usually called local content. The plan is to have about 40% of the investment that's going to be made in the country going to Ugandan entities. The second one is the revenue that the country will earn after production of oil starts. This is expected to be over $1 billion and up to $2 billion, depending on the oil price. And then the relationship between the oil and gas sector and other sectors of the economy is also another area that will earn value for the country. And this could come up to anywhere, depending on how well it is done, anywhere between $8–10 billion.
Rona Nahabwe, Smart 24 TV, driving business.
All right, now in the next report, still with Rona Nahabwe, we focus on bonds in business. Now, bonds play a crucial role in building successful organizations, economies, and communities. A strong bond leadership and governance delivers the required confidence that enables investment and growth. A panel of experts from different fields today expressed how big of a deal bonds are in management and smooth running of businesses. Rona Nahabwe reports.
Audit committees are vital for boards, structure committees to be precise. However, things like livelihood, wrong enforcement decisions, and not being able to be consumer-centric could harm any organization or business. On issues of business management, Capital Markets Authority was responsive.
I think my only advice really to issuers or potential issuers of securities is that to make the decision much earlier, long before you need capital is when you should start finding alternative sources of capital, not when you're in trouble indeed, because it really shows when you're in trouble. I think the bankers are able to sense that you're desperate, and don't use short-term capital as most businesses are doing to finance long-term investments. The revenues of a construction company tend to be very lumpy. 1 year, huge revenues, the next year, subsequent 2 years, no revenue. So it's also not very easy to value construction business. But I think my advice really is that businesses need to start seeking alternative sources of capital long before they need it. Keep them on hold, keep them warm, such that when you now need the capital, you tap into all the arrangements that you put in place. So I'm saying it takes a long time to prepare.
How consistent are the wishes of the board members to the advancement of a business?
There are those who don't care what's happening as long as they get their paycheck at the end of their dividends and so on. They don't care what you do, just make sure you make money for me. But then there are those who want to know what exactly is going on. And so we've got to strike the balance. Even for the other ones that don't care, information has got to get to them. There are those who, now that we're talking about the environment, there are some stakeholders, shareholders that will be concerned about certain things, others are not. One will say, the factory will operate as long as I get my money. But another will say, wait a minute, yes, we want to get the money, but how are we balancing these things, emitting fumes and so on and so forth.
Perhaps the boardroom needs young and more agile chairpersons.
And it does not discriminate whether you're a small business or large or multinational, public, private. And the convention was sharing perspectives both from board members who sit on the boardrooms of different organizations, aspiring board members, as well as various leaders of business and captains of industry. And in particular, my talk was to reflect on the journey governance has walked and the evolving role of board members. Maybe 30 or 40 years ago, we had a very traditional image of a board member, male, in late 50s to probably mid 70s. And those days have changed. And right now, boards need to have people who are reflective of the companies and also who are reflective of the businesses, of the people the companies do business with. So my key remarks and sharing was on the need for the board members to be more agile and adaptive in this day and age of the digital and information era.
Rona Nahabwe, Smart 24 TV, driving business.
And moving on, arts and craft are part of our culture. Crafts have been developed through the traditions of the people. They are a result of the feelings of the people responding to a variety of historical events and influences the environment in a most spontaneous manner. There is nothing better than using cultural heritage as our foundation and inspiration through which we promote, preserve and transform Uganda's visual arts into a vibrant sector for education, employment and poverty alleviation. With the high rate of unemployment in Uganda, the youth have been urged to utilize the natural resources and the skills they have to support them and a living instead of searching for jobs. After all, creativity and passion has turned people into millionaires. Let's get the report.
Youth are not employed, it's because most of them it is because of their peer groups. Most of them go join wrong groups, and such groups at times they can put into drugs, drinking, partying, and yet we have resources to do. A youth can do anything. We have a lot of things where you can do something useful and you set up a business. Because even we have the markets, nothing else here can't be sold. When you become serious, you can do something and you will create your own job than waiting for the government to help you out. Please the youth, what I can tell you, you just have to wake up one morning and think and maybe change friends who are useful to you than wasting time just in doing wrong things at a wrong time instead of being creative. Be creative and do something important to yourself.
Banana fibers. We get these banana fibers and we make coasters from it. So it gets useful at home. They cover on tea, something like that, actually on dining tables. So youths can get some creative jobs actually out of these things. They may see them as just a waste, but now you can get like paper. These are paper. You make some necklaces and earrings from it. Then you can get some wood. You make key holders out of it and you get some money and some a little bit of what to eat, actually.
All right, now moving on, we head to solar energy. Our solar companies have come up with different solar systems as a way of easing life for Ugandans during this time when commodity prices are escalating to ease energy provision. Desire Namobiru reports.
Ugandans have been in a hot soup since the escalation of prices seems to happen every day. As a way of trying to normalize the situation, solar companies have come up with different systems that can ease the lives of people. Among these systems, there is irrigation solar system, which is to help farmers add to food production and as well cut down the famine issue.
To ensure that our farmers in Uganda can get enough water during dry season, so that they can be in a position to harvest throughout the season. Two, we want to ensure that these farmers can have enough income. You know, when you are harvesting like throughout the season, and throughout the season, during dry season you are harvesting, during rainy season you are harvesting, that means that the farmer will be in a position to earn more income from what that person is growing.
It's coming to solve that problem. Why? Because the electricity bills now is very high. There are many people who don't have money every day to pay for electricity bills, yet with the economy changement and all that. So we have brought this idea so that we can reduce the cost of electricity and to give those people who are in low incomes to have also power in their homes because it's green energy. Well, in all our products, we have the two types of products. We have some panels which are mono and others are crystalline panels. So that's a type of panel, the polycrystalline, the monocrystalline, monocrystalline. Even the bad weather, it pulls up the power, from the solar. Even if it's cloudy, you can still get power,
Additionally, the companies have come up with lights that can be used in different aspects of life.
Called an integrated light, or people use it for street lights. So this one comes with a monocrystalline panel, which even in the cloud season, it can absorb what? Power. Then of course it has a lithium-ion battery inside. And of course you can see you can adjust the light, and it has also a motion sensor. Because of anything, you just you find the light increases, and of course you just need to put a pole on it. It doesn't need to put a light or a battery. The good thing of it is just put a pole and all thing goes well.
It comes with a panel. During daytime, it charges the battery. These security lights have batteries inside, so during daytime it charges the battery inside, and when it comes at night, it has a sensor. It just switches on by itself.
Different electronic devices have been replaced with solar devices. Solar energy is less costly than electricity.
One, it's called Ajay Solar Water Heater. It is 150 liters, and it has a panel inside. And of course, the good thing of it compared to the electric ones, this one, first of all, it uses green energy, which is solar. You don't need to connect anything. And of course, you know, nowadays with electricity and all that, paying bills and all that is coming a problem. So that's a good part of it. To save money, of course, out of it. And you just put it, you mount it there, and you start working.
Desire Nambiru, Smart 24 Television, driving business.
This report takes us into a break. We return with the Coffee Call. Stick around.